Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us on this special afternoon for this special session of a special webinar. On behalf of SLIIT, I would like to welcome you all. And today, we have all gathered for a very special webinar covering a very special topic. And first of all, as we expect more participants to join in, I would like to introduce you all to the speaker of the session. We have none other than Dr. Shantha Rajapaksa Yapa. Dr. Yapa is the first PhD from the Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo. He has academic and professional qualifications in mechanical engineering, IT, textile and clothing technology, banking and business management as well. He is a certified innovation manager and a member of 8 chartered and professional institutions in IT, engineering, logistics, marketing, psychology, and industrial engineering. He has received training in development banking, quality management, and energy engineering from HIID, the well-renowned Harvard Institute for International Development of Harvard University, JNIDB India, as well as RIT Sweden. Dr. Yapa has more than 36 years of experience in diverse industry sectors of manufacturing, banking, international business, and ICT in leading organizations, including Hatton National Bank PLC, Selinco Group, and Affinity Innovations. He is currently a board director of the ICT Industry Skills Council of Sri Lanka, and also has held several high positions in several credible organizations globally and as well as in Sri Lanka. Also to highlight, he has been teaching strategy, organizational behavior, and research methods in postgraduate programs of more than 20 local and international universities for more than 20 years as a visiting lecturer, including the University of Muratua and more than 7 UK universities, 2 Australian universities, and 3 Indian universities. He is an assistant professor attached to Universal Business School, India, and several other well-renowned institutions globally. So I warmly welcome Dr. Shantha Rajapaksa Yapa to address the gathering. So, sir, before you start, I would also like to inform the participants, please do stay with us. At the end of the session, we will also be discussing on the additional discounts and the programs we have at our Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research at SLIIT. Over to you, sir.
Aravind, hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for participating in this program hosted by Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research of SLIIT. And I consider this as a privilege to address you. And the topic I'm going to share with you is resolving common confusions in management. There's a special reason, as you all know, to select this kind of a topic. If you can see the images, they are not very, let's say, encouraging for us to see. A lot of problems, social, environmental, and economic problems around us. Business is becoming very challenging to us. As managers, we are facing a lot of problems. I'm sure many of you have gone through the VUCA factors, volatilities, uncertainties, complexities, ambiguities. We are experiencing all of them in an unprecedented manner. Tools we use to manage business organizations, analyze business organizations in the past may not work during this time. So I thought of taking you through a new tool found in a different subject let me take you through that tool first. It is not about system change, bit dangerous, I guess. It's about system behavior. This is a model found in systems engineering textbooks. And I guess this can help many of you to better understand the projects we are monitoring, the investments we are doing, and any other activities we are responsible for in our business organizations. We can revisit. So it is about dealing with unpredicted and undesirable things. Assume that you are managing a project. Okay, you are managing a project. You are working for a software company and your client is a bank, let's assume. And there are certain predicted outcomes from your project. The customer is looking for certain functionalities and features from the solution you and your team is developing. Agreed? They are predicted results or outcomes, and they are desirable as well. You want to hand over this particular solution to your client on time. Similarly, as a software developer or manager working for a software development company, you know that there will be certain undesirable outcomes, defects, bugs, and so on. But they are predicted. So you have a contingency plan, or you have a plan, you have allocated adequate time to correct those errors as well. Predicted, but they are undesirable. During the implementation, we try to minimize those undesirable outcomes. Still, they are predicted. The third category, unpredicted, but they are desirable. There can be certain outcomes from our project which we never expected at the beginning, but they are very much desirable. Customer would say, wow, we never expected this to happen. So they are unpredicted, desirable outcomes. And the last quadrant, unpredicted, undesirable. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be extremely careful, cautious in managing this block. We never expected these outcomes and they are unfavorable or undesirable. Increasingly, business organizations are coming across things which are falling under this particular block. We need smart managers to handle these UU situations, unpredicted, undesirable. I guess this is something new to the majority of participants. Before that, let me check how many of you are participating. Okay. Aravind, can you once again confirm whether you can hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We may use this model found in systems engineering textbooks to better understand our projects and even to take precautionary measures against any disruptive activities or disruptive technologies we may come across. So start using this. In case if you have any difficulty in understanding this or using this, please contact me. At the end of this session, I'll be sharing my contact details. Managers are expected to solve problems. I'm very happy to see a large number of participants. Some of them are executives who have just started their careers, but some are very experienced. CEOs as well. Okay, even the CEO of my previous company is attending this. You are welcome. I'm not going to name him at this moment. It's a pleasure to see you gentlemen in this forum and all the faculty members. It's nice to see you here. We as managers, we are expected to solve problems. Sometimes we as managers, we are creating problems as well, although not expected. How do you define a problem? To solve a problem, we need to be able to understand a problem properly. In emerging subjects like systems thinking and design thinking, the leading authors emphasize the importance of defining a problem at the beginning, before jumping into solutions, before offering a number of alternative solutions. What is the problem? We define a problem as a gap between two situations. It is the gap between what is desired or what you love to see and what is real or actual. So wider the gap, bigger the problem. In this context, problem solving is bridging these gaps. If this is new to you due to any reason, please remember this. Whenever you come across a problem at home or in your workplace, in your factory, try to understand the problem in this way. It is a gap between two situations, desired and actual. Actually, it is the gap between expectations and experience. Okay, so this is what we have learned in marketing. When there's a gap between expectation and experience, customer was expecting something and what you have delivered is less. So his experience is less. So he's unhappy. Same thing. In finding solutions, managers may come across trade-offs and paradoxical situations. So the title of today's session is how to resolve confusions in management. So I have picked two types of confusions. They are trade-offs we are experiencing in our day-to-day affairs in our workplaces, trade-offs. And number two, paradoxical situations. So I'm going to define them, explain what they are with a few examples. No point in explaining. I will show you how to resolve them as well. You are free to ask questions at any time. Okay, so this need not to be one-way discussion. You can stop me and ask questions or share your own examples as well. So what is the trade-off? We come across so many trade-offs on a daily basis. Here's an example to understand. I'm late to go to office. So I'm in a hurry to go. So I want to drive fast. I'm now pressing the accelerator of my car harder. Now I go fast, but there's a trade-off. What is it? The engine is now consuming more fuel. In most cars, okay, not necessarily, but there's the general understanding. I'm driving fast, I'm achieving one objective, and I'm losing something else. That is burning more fuel. These days, fuel is the precious thing, not on the earth in Sri Lanka. Trade-off, there are many examples we can think of. My staff is asking for a pay hike, salary increase. There's a justification, so I agree to increase their salaries by 20%. Profit is affected. Owners are unhappy. Employees are happy. Owners are unhappy. It's a trade-off. Security versus privacy. To increase the level of security in my workplace, I do a lot of things, CCTV cameras, body checks, and whatnot. And as I increase the level of security, it can impact privacy of individuals. Likewise, in day-to-day life in our workplaces, we come across a lot of trade-offs. So please be mindful about these trade-offs. The first example is the one I want you to remember. No point in solving one problem pertaining to a group of stakeholders if our solution is creating problems to many other stakeholders. So instead solving problems, we are creating more and more problems. So how to strike the right balance, how to create win-win situations is the challenge. So how to resolve trade-offs? Look for win-win situations. In the previous example, I might negotiate with the employees. Look, it's true that you have contributed well as expected, but this is not a very conducive time for us to increase salaries. Still, I want to give you something. I'll give you 10%. At the same time, try to reduce factory waste by 10%. When you do that, we'll reconsider your request. If they achieve it, definitely we can increase more. Profit will not be impacted. So that is an example for creating a win-win situation. So more than anything else, in resolving trade-offs, ladies and gentlemen, we need to use common sense and we need to be a little creative in solving trade-offs. The traditional ways we known to us or we are using may not help us. So how to resolve trade-offs? Challenge the taken for granted thinking. Some of you may know about this, but I'm going to explain what this challenging the taken for granted thinking story is. I want to drive my car fast, so I press the accelerator harder. Now I'm going fast, but the engine consumes more fuel. Taken for granted thinking. I assume that it happens in this way. I want to earn more money in addition to what I'm paid by my company. So I work during weekends elsewhere. Now I'm earning more money, but my family life is affected. Or I don't have time to rest. Taken for granted thinking. It happens in that way when you work after hours. But think, we need to challenge the taken for granted thinking to progress, especially during this kind of tough, turbulent times. Here's an example. I'm not happy with the lighting in this room. I get a technician to replace these devices or bulbs with more powerful lamps, knowing very well that, okay, now light intensity has gone up, the devices are consuming more energy, more electricity, which is a costly affair these days or in time to come. Should it be the case all the time? No, never. This is the traditional bulb we had. Some of us are still using this. It was replaced by fluorescents. Fluorescents were replaced by compact fluorescent lamps or CFLs and being replaced by white LEDs. What do we see? Light intensity is going up and power consumption is coming down drastically. We are achieving two objectives at the same time. If you can think along these lines, results can be different. So ladies and gentlemen, please try to do this. If you are in need, I can give you a lot of examples from industry, but I'm given only 1 hour. I have to move fast. So we discuss about trade-offs. Here's the second topic, paradoxical situations. Paradoxical situations. What is a paradoxical situation? There are so many definitions to this term, but this is how I would like to explain. I have a problem in my factory or in my office. I'm analyzing it. I'm assisted by my team as well. We are still trying to understand what has gone wrong. And to solve this problem, we do see two solutions, two equally appealing solutions, solution A and solution B. But we are not very sure whether A will work or B will work. Both are equally appealing. We have never come across this kind of situations. So I'm in a dilemma whether to implement A or implement solution B, accept A or B. I can accept A. If it is the case, I have to drop B. I cannot implement both. If I select B, I have to forget A. I cannot blend, I cannot mix. Or mixing is extremely difficult and challenging. This is a paradoxical situation. This is a paradoxical situation. Now, without making it very theoretical, very complex, let me give you a very simple example. We all know about standardization of products, or you are very familiar with customized products, tailor-made products to suit the exact needs of customers. Okay, tailor-made products. It can be a shirt, it can be any product, it can be an automobile, it can be a software solution. Tailor-made or customized or bespoke products which are produced to suit the specific needs of a group of clients or a specific individual. Customized products. Standardization is something totally different compared to customization. If you think of a straight line, horizontal, customization, we can mark at one extreme end, standardization at the other extreme. So what is the challenge now? If I try to customize, that means I'm moving away from standardization. If I try to standardize, I'm moving away from customization. combining these two is a real challenge. Okay, but it's doable. It's too early to suggest how to do that. Let's explore the topic. So you are now clear about paradoxical situations. Paradoxical situations. How many paradoxical situations you can think of? I'm sorry, I do not know. But I can give you a list of 10 at a stretch, 20 within minutes. That means there are so many paradoxical situations we come across in our workplaces, factories, offices, service-oriented organizations, in textbooks, in management articles, journal articles. You would see some people, they don't use the word paradoxical. They may use the bipolar or dichotomy and many other words, but I'm sure you now know what a paradoxical situation is. So let me quickly take you through a few examples. Made to measure and tailor-made, or the standard product. So I'll be explaining you 3 important paradoxical situations we often come across in our workplaces. Let me check time. Okay. Paradox of logic versus creativity. This is about thinking. As managers, as executives, as faculty members, as CEOs of organizations, you all are thinking before making any business decision, before signing a check, before signing an agreement, you all are thinking. How do you think? We mostly think logically. Logical thinking is the preferred way of thinking by employees like you and me. We are hired by organizations. So we are asked to, we are supposed to, we are insisted to think logically. What is logical thinking? Logical thinking is also known as rational thinking. There's some logic or rationale behind our thinking. So in the process, friends, we are using a lot of data and information. We do a lot of calculations, computations, and we as managers, we are very smart people, isn't it? So we are not going to stop the process after doing few calculations. We do forecasting. We would like to see how things will happen in the future. Year 1, year 2, year 3, and so on. Will we stop there? No, we are crazy about logical thinking. We continue our analysis, scenario analysis. And we even do sensitivity analysis by changing the values of certain variables, or in groups, that is scenario analysis. Will we stop there? No, some crazy managers among us, they continue to do logical thinking. They do extrapolation and even simulation. So this is one side of the story, logical thinking. And you see a straight line on the screen, one extreme end, that is logical thinking. We are discussing about paradoxical situations. I have a problem in my office, my factory. I'm seriously thinking about this problem. My thinking is right now logical thinking. Is it the only way available for us to think? No, there's another extreme way of thinking. What is it? You all know, creative thinking. I don't have a superior boss. I'm not restricted by any theories or any standards, any codes, whatever. I'm free to decide and implement. That is creative thinking. But there are people who are criticizing logical thinking. They say it is too much of analysis that can lead to paralysis. And those who are criticizing creative thinking, they say creative thinking is fast but not precise. It is quick and dirty. Why do we call this a paradox? Can I be logical? Can I think logically while trying to be creative? No, never. Can I think creatively while trying to strictly adhere to a logic? Extremely difficult. So you will now see the difficulty of mixing the two sides, logical thinking. If I want to think logically, I have to continue along that pathway. If I want to be creative, I'll have to deviate from logical thinking. But smart managers know how to blend. Okay, that's a topic which requires more time, but be aware. Right now, to an ordinary person, this is a real confusion. Should I now during this time period, especially the traditional ways of solving problems, doing things may not support our organizations. We need to do new things, try out new things. Creative thinking is required, but when the business environment is very tough, turbulent, do we have the mindset to do creative thinking? It can be extremely dangerous. So we try to ensure stability of the organization, ensure efficiencies of our organization, high resource utilization or resource optimization. For that, we must necessarily operate on the other extreme, left side, logical thinking. But some organizations during this tough time may relax controls and allow people to come up with creative ideas. So they may go for changes, innovative products, and so on. Now you see the application of this thinking or the phenomenon as well. As we have limited time, I cannot explain everything. So this is connected to many other areas, including this left brain versus right brain thinking and so on. Next, taking you through another paradoxical situation. That is deliberateness versus emergence. Look at this diagram. What you see in the middle is your organization structure, okay, where you are employed, the company you own, the company you manage. You have corporate level managers, top level managers or C-level managers, including board of directors, who will create corporate level strategies. Under them, there are business level managers. They are the ones who are managing SBUs, strategic business units or divisions, various divisions. They are developing business level strategies in alignment with corporate level strategies of the organization. And under them, there are various departments. So functional level managers, the third level in the organization, they are responsible in creating or crafting functional level strategies strictly in alignment with corporate level strategies and business level strategies. So what do we see in a typical organization? We see top level managers, they create strategies and they communicate down the line. Business level and functional level managers and the rest of the staff in the organization. So it is a deliberately done, meaning intentionally done. They are deliberate strategies. It is a top-down approach. And is it the only way to develop strategies? No, there's another way. Neglected, unfortunately, according to my opinion, by Sri Lankan organizations. We have completely neglected the other channel, that is emergent strategies, other type of strategies we can think of. It is a bottom-up approach. What does it mean? You try to implement a strategy. The C-level managers have introduced a new strategy, can be something to do with marketing, something to do with a new product development, anything. While trying to implement this, the operators or the lower level employees find a better way to handle it. Maybe a minute change, a small change, or it can be a situation where operational level people come up with a brand new strategy. They don't have the authority to implement. They have to refer it to the high authorities to get their blessings or approval. So that is the bottom-up approach. Perhaps due to cultural issues, the power distance we do maintain unintentionally or intentionally in our organizations, due to lack of awareness, due to so many other reasons, due to non-availability of proper upward communication channels, we may not be paying enough attention to emergent strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, it should not be the case. I'm repeating, it should not be the case. We should pay attention to emergent strategies. The reason in the next slide. I can give you dozens and dozens of practical examples. By the way, in this session, I'll be mentioning names of companies, brands, individuals, perhaps purely for academic purposes, not to promote anyone, any brand, or underestimate any individual or brand. So these are a few examples. I can cite here 4 examples. One is about Honda. In the late 60s and early 1970s, Honda wanted to go to United States to sell their motorcycles. So they decided to go to the United States market with the biggest motorcycles they had. Give me a second. So Honda decided to go to United States to sell motorcycles, and they decided to go there with the biggest motorcycles, perhaps 200cc or 250cc motorcycles, what they had in their product portfolio. The reason, US people were looking for big products, big houses, big cars, and so on. Although they launched the product, no sales, no sales. So they were very disappointed, and they were in the process of identifying dealers as well. Meanwhile, one of the dealers approached the manager of the Honda operation in United States and demanded that they should be given an opportunity to sell a small motorcycle. What is this small motorcycle story? Honda executives who were assigned to the US operation were given as their official mode of transport Honda 50cc Cub, CUB, Honda Cub. I'm sure some of you have seen it. The small-made Japanese people were going here and there in that particular city in the United States using the Honda Cub. And this dealer insisted, but they never wanted to go there to sell. Honda never attempted to sell those motorcycles with a lot of reluctance. Now, the big bicycle is not in demand. They were able to sell few motorcycles, but they also gave enough problems like technical issues and so on. So as they were desperately looking for an opportunity to come out of this problem, with some reluctance, they handed over an agency to this dealer to sell small motorcycles. And it was an amazing success. Nokia is known as a forest company, forest dealing with wood, paper, pulps, and so on. They were not into electronics until early 1980s. They, for the first time, they acquired a SLIIT company. SLIIT company is a company not doing well. And they turn around that company and realize the profit earning potential of such ventures. And they were very confident of their capability of turning around such electronic or high-tech companies. The brand name was Sylvania. They were producing color televisions in Europe. During this time period, the Finland army wanted to get technical support to launch a mobile telecommunication solution. Because of bad weather, wired communications started getting, let's say, disturbed. So they were looking for a solution, mobile or rather wireless communication solutions. 3 companies were shortlisted. One relatively young company, a startup kind of a company, was given the award by the Finnish army. Nokia immediately acquired the company, not planned for a long time. Deliberate strategies tend to fail. We all know that. How many of you can claim, practicing managers, 100% of the strategies you implemented gave you the expected results? It will never happen. Most of the time, we fail with our strategies. Very carefully developed at boardrooms or by looking at so many things, after doing so many calculations, deliberate strategies, intended strategies tend to fail due to various reasons. But research suggests us, research has enough evidences to prove that emergent strategies, the success rate is much higher compared to intended strategies. The reasons we need to find out. One easy assumption could be it is wholeheartedly supported by the lower level people of the organization who may not like to listen to the instructions flowing all the time from top to bottom. So the top-down approach can fail. Bottom-up approach has given a lot of opportunities. Some companies have become very rich, become global with such emergent strategies. 3M, Scotch Guard, a similar example, but I'm sorry, I don't have time. Microsoft, Bill Gates was looking for an employment opportunity, leaving his company, software company, which was not doing well. So the previous one we were discussing, it was about the importance of paying attention to emergent strategies. So why do you call it a paradoxical situation? It is extremely difficult to mix intended and emergent, but there are ways. Experienced managers will now realize, yes, we do it in our organizations. Here's the third example, globalization versus localization. Globalization versus localization. A company like McDonald's, as they operate in a large number of countries, they may prefer to offer one single or uniform kind of product so that the recipe is the same and the ingredients are the same. It is very easy to maintain stocks, order materials. If you can introduce uniform practices when it comes to accounting, when it comes to labor management, recruitment, payments, whatever, it's very easy. But can we do or can we run a globalized organization in that way? Extremely difficult. This is why we have mac rice, chili pizza, and so on. We need to customize or rather localize the product. Labor laws are different. Accounting standards are different or may vary from country to country. So this also can create a paradoxical situation, especially a young manager may face a dilemma, whether to globalize or whether to localize, or the extent you should apply. Think of a straight line. Where are you going to place yourself in the organization? Globalization, one extreme, localization, another extreme. Think in that way. This is a paradoxical situation. Combining the two is very, very challenging. So we come across in our day-to-day life so many other paradoxical situations. In fact, I'm giving as references, I'm showing a book. That book talks about 10 different paradoxes using which the two writers are explaining the subject of strategic management. 10 different paradoxes, very carefully explained. They elaborate the subject of strategic management. In other words, we do come across dozens and dozens of paradoxical situations, including those 10 very well articulated by those two writers. So I'm sharing with you the fourth one as mentioned by David and Mayer, the two writers of the book I have referred. Resources versus markets. This also can create a paradoxical situation. Managers may face a dilemma. The situation is gray. It's not in black and white. Look at this. It's called resource leveraging versus market alignment. Let me quickly elaborate this. I need to check time. Okay. In your organization, there are so many resources given to you, including employees, the most precious asset owned by your organization. You have plant and machinery, and you have other equipment as well. So as a manager, especially during this tough time, your mindset is always towards, or most probably will be towards, how to leverage the resources, how to get the maximum return from the available resources. Look at the other side. It is known as market alignment. Okay, customer expectations are changing. customers are looking for newer products, maybe more value for money during this time period, and there can be gaps in the marketplace. So as a leader of the organization, as a manager of a department, it is your responsibility and it is your passion as well to align yourself with the requirements of the marketplace, isn't it? We don't blindly operate. We always try to understand what the market or what our customers are looking for. So we try to align ourselves with the market. But ladies and gentlemen, this is cited by authors, by academics, by practitioners as a paradoxical situation. Resource leveraging and market alignment, they lie on a straight line, horizontal straight line at extremes. So how to resolve this? It is extremely difficult to mix the two, at least during the initial time period. So I'm bringing two new words, perhaps to some of you, to your vocabulary. The first one, like the top-down approach and bottom-up approach in strategies, here are the two words, inside out and outside in approach. What does it mean? A manager who has an orientation of thinking which is aligned with inside out will always look at what do I have in my organization. Now I'm responsible to my owners. How should I show a higher return on their investment? Resource leveraging is my primary objective. It is number one in my agenda. There can be another manager. He is always ignited by the opportunities he sees in the marketplace. It does not mean to say that he does not require resources. To run the business, you need to have these resources. But his thinking process begins with the signals he gets from the marketplace, market alignment. Two different types of orientation of your thinking as a manager. So this is called to be a paradox. I suggest you to start reading, start thinking. Even the explanations given by myself is sufficient for you to, would be sufficient for you to explore these topics further. Now, this is the fourth and the last, as we are having limited time, the fourth and the last paradoxical situation I wanted to discuss with you. Now, you must be thinking, some of you, well, the resource person is Shante Appa is talking about paradoxical situations, inside out, outside in. Are people using this, or this is very rare stuff? Let me answer to that question as well. Okay, out of the four paradoxical situations I was talking about, the fourth one, resources versus markets. Is it a widely used phenomenon, concept, practice? How to find? You go to Google and check. So I checked this afternoon as I was finalizing this slide deck. Look at this, resource-based view versus market-based view. Look at the number of entries. Do you see the figure? It is 1,420,000,000. That is 1,420 million entries. It is a very strange figure. One would tend to think that, look, we have only 7.9 billion people in the world. Are everybody using, or 10% of them, whatever the fraction is using this word? Anyway, this is the proof to show that these terms, this kind of thinking, this kind of practices are extensively used by managers, including Sri Lankan managers. We should never underestimate them. So it's about, the topic is about confusions we are facing in managing our organizations in terms of trade-offs and paradoxical situations. Although I explained a few trade-off situations, there are many. You can think of many other trade-off situations. In a trade-off situations, you must necessarily try to strike the right balance. No point in satisfying one or solving one problem that would lead to many other issues in the organization or among stakeholders. Number two, we discuss as a confusion, about paradoxes. You know what a paradox? I have a managerial problem in my organization, two equally appealing solutions. After discussing with my team or my careful thinking, I'm not too sure whether first solution will work or the other, but I cannot blend the two and implement both. I have to select one by dropping the other. That's a paradoxical situation in a nutshell. So I explained to you 4 paradoxical situations out of many. Give me a second. So this is probably the last slide. Resolving paradoxical situations. No point in explaining paradoxical situations if I'm not giving you a way out. So it is my duty. So I'm suggesting few ways to face or resolve paradoxical situations in your organization or in your industry. Understand paradoxical situations. And whenever you try to solve a problem, try to think whether I'm on the extreme end of a paradoxical situation. What does it mean? There can be another extreme possibility on a straight line, on a continuum. Am I operating only on this side? Can I think of the other extreme alternative available? Unless you be careful, you will never come across this kind of opportunities. This one might tend to think that this can confuse managers. Confusion is better than failing with the company's money later, isn't it? So start thinking seriously. You will come across a large number of paradoxical situations. Some of you may come up with brand new ones pertaining to the local situations. Experienced managers, more than experienced, smart managers, they may be young managers as well. They will find special ways of blending the two sides. That is something very amazing if you can do. Before I go to use common sense. Anyway, common sense is one of the most important ingredients in resolving paradoxical situations. Blending, how to blend. Think of the very first example I explained under paradoxes. Standardization versus customization. When I try to standardize the product, it loses its features from, let's say, it is not going to be a customized product. When I try to customize the product to suit the specific needs of my client, I'm moving away from standardization. So how to resolve this? Well, I can think of offering a modular architecture, okay, where the common platform, we are not going to change it, but we add some modules to customize. That's one way. Immediately what would come to your mind is I'm talking about software. No, not necessarily. Okay, even in other industry sectors. A good example is in automobile industry, there are so many successful companies like Volkswagen and Toyota who are doing this. Okay, I'm sure some of you have read about the common platform architecture implemented by Volkswagen, world's #1 manufacturer of cars. They claim that certain cars are built on a common platform. How many cars? Over 100 different models are built on the same platform. What does it mean? It's the same wheelbase, same width, same overhang, same engine, same transmission system, same braking system, same ventilation controllers, same electrical system. What is different? Well, body parts, dashboards, seats, and so on. That way you can go to the market faster than the traditional methods. Think seriously. Mixing is a possibility. Use common sense is my next suggestion. Creative thinking is mandatory to resolve paradoxical situations. Segmenting. For certain markets, for certain customer groups, one approach would be appropriate. For the others or the majority, you may have a different approach. And phasing out. Implementing a solution to a problem in the right time can be a major failure. Even countries can fail with very good solutions if you try to implement at the wrong time, or phasing out is very, very appropriate. Ignore paradoxical situations and challenge. That again can be another interesting advice I can share. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm showing you references. This is the book I showed you. Should you buy this? No. Go to Google. Any paradoxes I discussed today, example, logical versus rational thinking, type it in Google and type the word David and Mayer. You can read a couple of pages and get more information about this. The second book is my reference to use. That is the model I discussed with you, undesirable and unpredictable situations. We are expected, whether we like it or not, we have to face such situations. And the third book is the book I published a couple of years back. So I have finished my session, and you are free to ask questions. I guess I was good in managing time, although
Yes,
there was a disruption in the middle.
yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Within the limited available time, you did convey the best information that we could grasp, taking us through the paradoxical situations, the importance of how we face the VUCA environment from in terms of the customization versus standardization, and the logic versus creativity, and so on. I would like to invite the participants. Due to the lack of time, we can take a maximum of 2 to 3 questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and raise the question. You can also use the chat box to send in any questions you have in regards to the session we had today.
If you are still thinking about questions, so the questions, if they come to you after this session, still you have an opportunity to contact me. I will share, or if you visit our website, SLIIT, you can find my contact details. Please feel free to talk to us. Okay. We are very friendly, approachable, accessible, not only myself, the entire faculty. Okay. That's something, a privilege the students and alumni and even outsiders will have from our institution. So please feel free to ask questions if you do have any. So I must thank all the participants for taking part in this program. Aravind, I seek your permission to thank everyone, out of them to one special character who was a short period of time my CEO, my boss, that is Mr. Tharindra Kalpage. Thank you for taking part. Do you have any questions, gentlemen? Looks like there are no questions.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for this informative session, the webinar. We hope to connect with you more and learn a lot from you. I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce the participants to some of the programs we have at SLIIT with the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, especially the MBA relevant to the topic we spoke today. The MBA at SLIIT is designed in a way to equip the modern manager to take up leadership roles and to lead in a way that they can transform and also bring in a wealth of management decisions, and also in terms of their leadership capabilities. So our program, just for the information of the participants, yeah, we have this UGC, we have a UGC approved, Ministry of Higher Education approved SLQF level 10 program, and the SLIIT MBA, the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, along with the SLIIT Business School. We are a member of AACSB, which is the world's largest business school alliance. So we deliver a globally recognized program here at SLIIT. And also there is the possibility of global exposure on top of interactive sessions and webinars. We also have this possibility for students to go for an exchange program with Rennes School of Business in France. I would request the participants, if you would like to know more about our MSc and MBA programs, do register yourself for the upcoming information session. We have scheduled it for the 14th of July, where you can learn more about the programs and also gain take advantage of the available discounts. So to quickly run you through the SLIIT MBA in particular, we currently run a hybrid mode of delivery where you can come physically and attend the classes. Also, you can attend the classes online. The exams are conducted physically to ensure we uphold the credibility of the program and the global recognition. The program is conducted on Sundays from 8:30 to 5:30. It's a 2-year comprehensive MBA, and with a lot of knowledge and skills, to equip you to take up leadership roles and also network. This is my contact number, even if you wish to reach Dr. Yapa with you, and also with details of academic faculty members, so you can find his direct contact details as well. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you would like to get more details about the SLIIT postgraduate programs, and also if you would like to get in touch with Dr. Yapa. So with that, I would like to wrap up this session. But before I do, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Yapa if you would like to address anything else to the audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aravind. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of SLIIT, the Faculty of Graduate Studies, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude for taking part in this 1-hour webinar. We wanted to strictly adhere to the time given. Hope you learned something, and we are available to share what we know with you. Please keep in touch. Stay safe. We'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So again, on behalf of SLIIT and the Faculty of Graduate Studies, I would like to thank you all for joining this special webinar. Also, a special set of thanks to the resource person, Dr. Yapa. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights. And thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful evening and hope to catch up with you all soon. Take care then.